Hello, everybody. Jeff Lohse with another weekly SBCA update. It's the week of April 25th, 2024. And if you did not know, that's a palindrome. So 42524. Next few days are going to be that as well if you want to use that little factoid as you go. So bet you did not have that on your bingo cards and how we're going to open today. But another great week at SBCA, working hard, a lot of different things. One thing I wanted to point out right from the jump, our innovation grant that for anybody looking to drive innovation within the structural building components industry, that deadline is coming up pretty quick. Monday, I think it's May 1st. I think that's a Tuesday, but May 1st is definitely the day. Make sure that you get your submissions in before that. Competition, it's not as stiff as last year. We don't have as many entrants right now. There might be some that come through, but if you're thinking, gosh, we just might not win, it's not necessarily about winning. It's about getting your product or your idea or your service out there, allowing the market to kind of get some feedback. And also, we are going to be changing that to where we're not just picking a singular winner. We're wanting to have kind of more of a presentation, kind of a panel of 4 or 5, depending on how it all shakes out. And then we'll have those at BCMC to allow people to pick and choose what they'd like to see and what they, provide that feedback. And maybe it's an iterative process to where you get a little bit better. So that is pretty valuable whenever you're bringing something to market, is to have actual feedback. And this is hopefully an opportunity. Plus, we're getting some innovations into the industry that we might not have otherwise had. Very much part of our strategic plan and the culture of SBCA. So beyond that, also wanted to talk about Asheville, our OQM coming up. If you've not yet signed up, make sure you do that. Our hotel room block is coming up to being closed on the deadline. There are still some rooms available, but then also our dinner. The head count is necessary or required earlier because of the restaurant that we're choosing. So that one we'll be locking up a little bit earlier than what we normally do. So if you're on the fence, make sure you get in, and then we will have our proper head count. We're going to try to bring all of our staff to Asheville for SBCA and have them at that dinner. But what happens is a lot of people don't sign up, so we get an inaccurate head count. And then we've got to say, oh, hey, Sean and Molly and Ashley and Allie, you guys got to go somewhere else because we just don't have the headspace, because we want to get the CMs and the attendees in the room. So please do me a favor and just get that signed up if you want to attend. If not, we might have to tell you a little tough luck too. So beyond that, education sessions are lined up. We've got a couple speakers from the Oak Ridge National Lab. We also have our education committee putting together a couple different things. So that'll be very informational, again, as we pivot to more education. One thing we did hear out of the last OQM is not as much social activity. So we are going to try to add a kind of an afternoon or late afternoon, early evening social happy hour at one of the breweries. Asheville, if you've not been there, has probably the highest per capita of microbreweries in the country. A lot of different options. So we're trying to select that, get that down to one, to where we can have, 40, 50, 60, however many people are going to be there, attend, and, have a few beers, enjoy each other's company before we go off onto dinner for Wednesday night on our own. Beyond that, legislative fly-in, June 12th coming up. That's going to be on the heels of the Innovative Housing Showcase. It's going to be in concert with NHB's event that they've got going on. So we're kind of piggybacking on them, leveraging some of those resources. We've got 4 or 5 people already signed up for it. We'd like to have more, but it is one of those that if you'd like to participate, make sure you reach out, talk to Sean Shields on our staff. You can talk to me. Anybody on staff will be able to point you in the right direction, but definitely reach out if you're interested in doing that. It's going to be one of those that we're kind of reviving, what we used to do years ago, getting that advocacy out there and really just, being able to talk about not only components and our manufacturing industry within the larger construction, but it's that larger construction. How can we help better the environment to where more houses can be built? Whether it's local regulations or national things that are approaching, those are the people that we want to talk to and try to advocate for that. And if you're in the area, Innovative Housing Showcase that weekend prior, we're going to be doing a lot of talking and a lot of build up to that. That event's coming along very well. Had a great conversation with Sean, who is heading that up. He's doing a great job. We've got some very good partners that we'll be announcing and coming alongside us that are just, it's amazing. It's amazing to see the support of this industry and being able to do things like this. Hopefully we're driving the right message. I believe we are, with getting, just the value of components as the best way to frame out there, and being able to utilize the materials and the marketing and stuff that we create with events like that helps us throughout the year too. So looking forward to that as well. Beyond that, this week, I had an opportunity to go to the Northwest Truss Fabricators Expo in Richland, Washington. Really good event, really well planned. Congratulations and thank you to Marion Nelson, Scott Hudson, Chad Johnson from the chapter for really putting that on. I think there's probably, and this is my count, not theirs, but probably close to 80 people. A lot of people I recognize, but some that I didn't, that really shows that it hit the mark. trying to have education for those mid-level tiers that aren't able to get away to the OQMs, might not be able to always go to BCMC. So really that was the goal of the chapter. I think they did that. A lot of good speakers, Mike Kozlowski, Jason Heichel, another economist, and kind of a futurist talking about AI. I think you're going to be hearing a lot more about AI and things that, how it can apply to our industry. So stay tuned to that, especially coming up in our Bellevue OQM. I think kind of a hint on what's going on there. But thank you to all the attendees, everybody that came out for that, and the warm hospitality and reception that I received. I always appreciate that. Had a lot of good conversations. There were people there from as far away as Florida to Hawaii. So that's about as east-west as you get coming up to, the Pacific Northwest. So yeah, had a manufacturer in Hawaii that wants to, utilize digital QC. So cool things like that. And got to see some old friends that I hadn't seen in quite a while. Beyond that, make sure that I got everything that I wanted done here. The NFC regional meeting and the golf outings coming up next week. If you have not signed up, I don't even know if it's open anymore, but just know that it's going on. Put it on your calendar for next year. It's always a fun event. I'm not going to be able to make it, but it is one that they've done a great job of really building that. Ryan Heichel and all of the NFC steering committee have put a ton of work into that, our staff. And I should have also recognized Ali and Talia with helping out with that Northwest Trust Fabricators event too. They did a great job kind of providing support and some know-how there to Marion and Chad and to Scott. So beyond that, next week, I will be in Austin with a lot of our new staff members, going to be doing kind of an intro to construction, talking about the construction industry, the truss industry, wall panels, and just all the components and getting them up to speed. We've got some people that are from the outside, so helping them understand our industry a little bit better. I'm going to do a brain dump. We're going to tour a couple factories. We'll talk a little bit more about that next week. But looking forward to that, to try to drive some education, make our staff more knowledgeable to where they interact with you. It makes a little bit more sense, and we can help them when they're writing articles or trying to facilitate introductions or anything else that they're just doing. It's helpful to have that information, especially with our education. So Ashley will be there for sure. But beyond that, I'm kind of rambling. I will cut it off there. We'll talk to you next week. Peaks up, press on. Have a great week and a weekend, and looking forward to talking to you next week. Goodbye.